Hello, my name is Temitope Olodo, and it's a great honor and privilege to be invited to speak at this conference, this international conference. It's a pity that I'm unable to be on ground actually to speak to the audience, and that's for family challenges. But I just felt that it's important that I come to you to speak on this particular subject matter, which is very close to my heart, involving global threat, rewriting global preventive terrorism strategy. And I felt that the only way to be able to speak to you on this subject, to be able to deal with this issue actually, is to share my PowerPoint presentation, which I believe will give you an understanding of where I'm coming from on this subject matter. So let's go ahead and let me speak to you on this issue. So it's now 5,928 days as we speak. 16 years ago, we had a dramatic shift in the way in which we do things in the area of prevent terror, in the area of counter-terrorism, because 52 individuals lost their life on that fateful day, 5,928 days ago. 700 people were injured during the London bombing. And this actually changed the way in which we look at the issue of terrorism in the United Kingdom with the establishment of the Office for Security and Counterterrorism, which more or less is the embodiment of the contest strategy. And that contest strategy, as you know, have a four piece to it, one of it, which is the prevent strategy. And that is what I'll be speaking about today, looking exactly at the evolving threat in security and rewriting the prevent strategy as we go along, because 16 years down the line as we speak, there are now 23,000 individuals who the security agents or security services are said to be on the watch list, and 400 plus British nationals, not foreigners, British nationals who are actually involved in war acts of war or outside the UK, planning to be involved in one act or the other. And that brings me to the issue of who are homegrown terrorists. Homegrown terrorists could be divided into two. We have the white extremists and we have the radicalized individuals who are from the diaspora. Now, when we talk about the diaspora, I know many people do not like using that word. A lot of individuals from outside the UK who are British citizens actually see themselves as diasporans. Now we need to understand that these diasporans fall into two different categories again, because they are the fathers, the first and second generation. There are those first generations who actually left their home country, came to the United Kingdom in the early 50s, 60s, and they are nationalists, pure nationalists who decided to go back to their country, actually to fight for independence, even from the British Empire. I have people in Kenya, Nigeria, who are part of that struggle. But they were really keen, to have their own homeland, and they went back. This generation are different from the new generation who are diasporans, but see themselves as people that have a right of entitlement because they are British citizens, and yet they see themselves gravitating towards the country of their parents. These are second and third generation, and I'm going to be talking about them because they are quite important. This is the history. Now, it's important to understand that one-time freedom fighter could become known as a terrorist. So, as we know, our good president in South Africa was one time, Mandela was one time known as a terrorist or branded as a terrorist, but he was a freedom fighter to many on the continent of Africa, even overseas. And afterwards, he gained his freedom, he got what he wanted, and he became an elderly statesman, adding value, to community. So a freedom fighter could be another person's terrorist, but it's important to highlight that. But I think it's better to come back home and actually look at some of the challenges that we've had. We've had the prevent strategy for quite some time, since 2000, at least since 2005, when the concept came up. And yet we'll be having a lot of crisis, a lot of terrorist attack committed by homegrown terrorists. Yeah, I call them homegrown terrorists. So we know about the Manchester incident, which was committed by an individual, 22-year-old, individual who is of the Libyan extraction. Is a British citizen of the Libyan extraction. And of course, I'll be talking about that later. And it went in there and caused a lot of havoc. Now we talk about the incident in Westminster, which again led to the death of a police officer. Some of his colleagues might be, in the audience, as we speak. But again, this is an individual who is of the diaspora community, who came in and committed all kind of havoc, in the heart of Westminster, leading to the death of a police officer, and changing the dynamics of the way in which Westminster and that surrounding is actually policed, from a counterterrorism perspective. Then we have the incident that happened at London Bridge, which was the Borough High Street, happened around 9:59 p.m. But again, diasporans who, felt that this is the only way in which they could express themselves, and led to the death of many individuals and injury, serious injury to a lot of individuals there. And then we have the Woolwich incident, which was quite dramatic, where a military officer, military personnel was killed in broad daylight, and this individual actually waited there and made a lot of statements. Some of those statements are still in the public domain, giving reasons for why they did what they did. And of course, we know where they're from. They're also from the diaspora. But these are the faces of the diaspora. And the reason why this is important is because we need to understand the prevent strategy and radicalize diasporans, which is one aspect of the prevent strategy, one aspect of the work of the prevent strategy, because we need to really understand what are the drivers. Why are these people so angry, so bitter, that they have to turn against the country which they call their home country, the UK? Why would these individuals who are British citizens turn around and actually become an enemy of the state? Apart from the white extremists who have their own agenda for what they're doing, but these radicalized individuals, why are they doing this? There are different drivers for why they are doing this, but I felt it is important for us to understand where these guys are coming. These are second and third generations of diasporas who have settled down in the United Kingdom and who should see themselves as British citizens, but yet they turned around and started this us against them. These individuals live in different localities, but yet they take their attack outside their locality. You saw the incident in Westminster. This individual that did the Westminster attack, not only was he friendly with the hoteliers and people in the hotel before the incident, they said he actually was laughing with them. But when he got to Westminster, where he saw that where he perceived in his mind the enemies resided, he went after people in that area. The same thing with Adebowales, who left where they were living, moved to an area, and when they got to the military barrack, they became animals. And even people that were talking to them, they never attacked those people. They had their knives in their hand. They could have attacked if that is their intention. This is different from the Libyan boy, who himself and his brother were involved in the orchestration of this incident. And what did he do? He went to an area, left his house, went to an area where he felt this is where the people he wanted to target were, and he blew himself up. What about the incident on the train? He left his house with an explosive material, which was very delicate, left it, got on the train, and tried to decimate himself there. So these are individuals who are radicalized. And how could the prevent strategy deal with this kind of individuals. One of the things that the prevent strategy promote is British values. Why is it that these people are moving away from mutual respect and tolerance? Why are these people, moving away from individual liberty, freedom for all? Why is it that they are not following the rules of laws or believing in democracy? Rather, they want to live with the Taliban. They want to leave Western civilization and move to the Taliban. And we've seen what the Taliban are doing. It's important to highlight, and that is where we're going, that there are different drivers of terrorism, but terrorism in itself, the face of terrorism is evolving. No longer are people planning to fly planes, into which happened 20 years ago, or try to bomb an airliner, which was done by a diaspora in Nigeria, that was done by Sudanese, Saudi Arabian diasporans in America. But all these diasporans had an intention of creating fear. All these diasporans had an intention of creating havoc. But now they've shifted away from that way of terrorism. And that's the reason why we need to evolve our prevent strategy also, because they've now moved into stabbing innocent individuals on the streets, suddenly driving into crowds and crushing people, because they know that it's difficult to get planes now. It's difficult, to actually go if you're on the watch list, to actually get a car that you could borrow and things like that. So they are changing, and we also need to change. So what are the drivers of radicalization? And sometimes I call it diaspora radicalization. Some of it, they said, is foreign affairs. Some people have said it's poverty. Some people have said it is the fact that these individuals, and most of them, had criminal records, and it's difficult for them to actually be reintegrated back into community, and the only people that will accept them, that will take them as family, are those individuals who want to radicalize them. And we need to find a way in which we could deconstruct these individuals who have been radicalized and try and bring them back to become valuable members of the society. So how could we evolve our prevention? There are different things that we could do to make the prevent strategy fit for purpose. We need to make our prevent strategy community driven. When the prevent strategy was set up initially, it had community, people from within the community running those projects and taking those projects to the next level, finding these individuals, using magnetic strategy to find these individuals from within the community. And that was part of the work that I did when I was working in the Office for Security and Counterterrorism. I was more or less on behalf of Her Majesty government funding this project, going there, evaluating this project, talking to the individuals involved, working with those intervention groups, and ensuring that all these prevent panels that are working and bringing all these people on board are doing what they're supposed to do, and ensuring that we are giving the necessary funding to ensure that people do not come out and commit havoc. But unfortunately, the face of the prevent strategy have changed since that time. And now we have a prevent strategy which the community do not own, and which they said is not fit for purpose. So one of the things that I think we need to do is to change the face of prevent strategy, to look at what the Saudi Arabians have done in the prevent strategy, to look at what Moroccans have done, because the Moroccans have a very, very interesting counterterrorism strategy which has worked for them. And we need to start looking at borrowing initiatives from across the world that work for us. We know, for example, very, very important, that most of these diasporans that want to commit havoc do not commit havoc in their own community. In fact, they have a kind of a double personality. When they're in their community, they are as friendly as a dove, they are as gentle as a dove, but when they move out of their community, they want to move into an area where they want to create havoc. And those are the kind of things that we need to look at and say, how can we stop this kind of thing? How can we get communities involved? How can we get communities to rewrite the strategy and own the strategy? How can we ensure that community take over the intervention process of prevent and make it work, so that we have a safe community, a safe society? How can we boost community confidence and community communication and engagement? There are a lot of things we need to do. We need to ensure that we create a superior narrative, because the narrative out there that is radicalizing these individuals need to be attacked, and we need to attack them with a superior narrative so that we can deconstruct these individuals who are causing havoc. The police, the Home Office, and all the agencies involved need to bring on board a lot of the communities where these incidents are more pronounced. It is important. I'm quite interested to find out that why a lot of individuals from the Asian community have been arrested. A lot of people that actually go out to carry out the attack, that actually succeed in carrying out the attack, are actually people from mainly the African community and Arab community. So we need to find out what is it that we are missing in our engagement. Because when you look at even the prevent strategy, most of the intervention providers are not from the African community. They are not actually from the BME community that are relevant to ensuring the success of the prevent strategy. That is the reason why we need to revisit the way in which we do prevent, because prevent needs to change. We cannot allow 20,000 plus individuals to be on the watch list. We need to find ways in which we are able to take these people out and make them valuable members of the community. Even with COVID, even with all the economic woes and all the challenges the global world is going through, prevent work is relevant and important. We have seen that we can throw as much weapon into the issue of counterterrorism, but we will lose all those weapons within a twinkle of an eye, as it has happened in Afghanistan, where soldiers who have been trained with money from America, from the UK, are dropping their weapon even without shooting a bullet. And that makes us realize that we cannot continue to just throw money at it. We need to win hearts and mind. And if we really are interested in rewriting, in changing the global threat, in evolving with the global threat, then we need to rewrite the global preventive terrorism strategy and make it community driven. We need to ensure that it is owned by the community, pushed by the community, and worked by the community for effective management. This is very, very important. And this is the reason why I believe that we need to work more together, collectively, to ensure the change in the way in which we do things with regard to prevent strategy. Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. My special thanks to the International Security Expo for giving me the privilege to speak to you. And I hope that next time I'll be able to be live at the program to be able to share views with colleagues from around the world. Thank you so much, and God bless you.